Welcome to the Kansas City Business Show. With us today is Dr. Abid Bhatt. He is the medical director of the Truman Medical Center for Sleep Health. Thank you, doctor, so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Alyssa.
I think a consistent night's sleep is something that all of us treasure. How many people suffer from sleep disorders, doctor?
Well, Alyssa, the number of people who have various sleep disorders is very huge. There was a study done recently by National Sleep Foundation that showed around 70 million Americans have different sleep disorders. We have at least 80 different sleep disorders that we know about.
Is there a basic cause of all this sleep deprivation?
No, there are a number of reasons for sleep problems. The most common cause is that we don't sleep enough.
Really?
We as Americans think that sleep is a luxury and we can't spend too many hours sleeping because we're going to lose or we're going to be out of pace with the rest of the world. And this leads to what is called sleep deprivation, where we don't sleep enough, and this tells upon us during the daytime when you fall asleep at work, when you fall asleep while driving, and at times have motor vehicular accidents resulting unfortunately in death.
But is there a typical age when we have more sleep problems than normal, or are there certain jobs that trigger this more than others?
As far as age is concerned, there are some sleep disorders that you can find even in kids, in adolescents, in adults, and in elderly. As far as gender is concerned, you can have some sleep issues related to women in their different age groups. You can have some sleep disorders in menopause, where patients may struggle to fall asleep. They will have various symptoms like they will be sweating, they will be anxious, they'll be nervous, and they find it very hard to go to sleep, and they find it very hard either to fall asleep or maintain sleep.
So what are some of the other symptoms? How will we know if we have a sleep disorder?
Two common symptoms are either you're sleepy or you can't sleep. Let's go first to sleepiness. The patients will complain to you that they're sleepy day and night, they don't get enough sleep. And the other spectrum is where patients will come to you and tell you that they find it very hard to go to sleep, and if they go to sleep, they'll wake up middle of the night and struggle to go back to sleep.
What are maybe some of the other symptoms?
One of the common disorders in the United States is what's called sleep apnea. It's a disorder characterized by frequent snoring, restless sleep. The patients wake up gasping and choking for breath. They struggle to breathe. And many times the partner notices that the patient stops breathing. And this is one of the common symptoms that we see in our clinics these days.
Restless leg syndrome, is that one of the causes? Or symptoms, rather?
That's it itself is a sleep disorder where patients struggle to keep their legs at one place. They have this urge, feeling to move their legs constantly when they're sitting at one place. This especially happens during the nighttime when they tend to go to sleep. And unfortunately, as a result, they can't go to sleep because they are constantly moving their legs.
Obviously, a consistent lack of sleep can cause serious problems. What are some of those problems that people face health-wise if they don't get a good night's sleep on a consistent basis?
Patients who don't sleep enough are usually cranky, they're irritable, they have headaches, and they feel tired, and their productivity at work suffers. Sometimes they can have marital issues. They can go through divorce because of increased risk of depression, anxiety. And obviously, if you don't sleep enough, you're at risk of having accidents either in the car or if you are a pilot. And as a fact, the Challenger tragedy that happened in 1986 was partly attributed to lack of sleepiness.
Well, I know Truman Medical Center has a Center for Sleep Health. But forgive me, doctor, a hospital is not exactly the place that most of us want to go to help us if we have a sleep disorder.
We have our sleep lab at Hyatt Regency Crown Center, and the idea was to build a sleep lab at a place that is more calm, homey, and provides a conducive, quite blissful night to patients rather than a hospital where there's so much noise and the patients feel that is as if they're coming for something that is more serious.
That makes a lot of sense. So what is a night like if I come to the sleep center? What kind of an experience can I expect?
They are received by a sleep technician who works with them all night and who does a test. he or she explains the procedure to the patient and try their best to make it as comfortable as possible. And then they connect different leads to them so that we can monitor their brain waves, their sleep, their eye movements, their snoring, their oxygen in the blood, and their heart rate. And finally, we come up with some data that tells us what sort of sleep disorder does this person have.
Excellent. So what kind of results are you getting out of that?
I still remember a patient who was brought in forcibly by his wife because she was really worried about him that he would stop breathing all night, which he vehemently denied. And when we convinced him to go for the sleep study, we saw that he was stopping breathing 100 times an hour.
Wow.
And his oxygen levels in the blood were very low. So once we started him on treatment, namely the CPAP, he came in next time to see me and he said, looking towards the machine, that this is my second wife.
Oh, that's so great. Let's talk a little bit more about the treatments,
Sure.
because there are treatments. Is there a cure though?
It depends upon the sleep disorder that you're talking about. Like sleep apnea, the CPAP machine is a very effective treatment option. That's the most commonly used treatment option for sleep apnea. For restless leg syndrome, there's some medications that can be very effective. There are some disorders called narcolepsy where there's no cure, but fortunately enough, there are good medications that can control the symptoms.
What about sleeping pills?
That's a good question. I have noticed in my sleep clinic that patients come in and most of them have already tried sleeping pills over the counter or have asked their primary care physicians to have sleeping pills. The point here is sleeping pills are not an answer to all the sleep problems. They may be helpful in some sleep disorders, but at the same time, it can be extremely dangerous to take a sleeping pill if you have a sleep disorder like sleep apnea, where it can in fact cause serious consequences.
Well, for those of us who may have heard a symptom or condition that you mentioned earlier, what do we need to do in order to be able to maybe get an appointment, or do we need to call our doctors? How does that work?
Sure. The patient can either talk to their regular doctor asking for the referral to the sleep clinic and be seen by a board-certified sleep physician, or they can call us directly at our contact number, area code 816-404-0848, or they can directly go to our website, truemed.org.
All right, Dr. Bhatt, I've never said this in an interview before, but I really hope that we can help put some folks to sleep with this interview, don't you?
Sure.
Dr. Abid Bhatt, thank you so much for being with us today. Dr. Abid Bhatt, who's the medical director of the Truman Medical Center for Sleep Health. And you're watching the Kansas City Business Show.